I don't know if the younger crowd, the 20-year-olds and the early 30-year-olds understand how over Stone Cold was, but for you to literally want to quit watching wrestling because he got fired.
I'm telling you, the people cannot, I know all they get to see is like YouTube. They don't get to actually witness how everyone felt at this time. Stone Cold Steve Austin was the Michael Jordan of wrestling. Like, he couldn't go anywhere. He was the most recognizable face. This guy just lifts up two hands and everybody, it sounds like an explosion went off.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was, I mean, something in the wrestling world they talk about is the Road Warrior pop. I think you also got to throw in the Stone Cold pop. All right. So Stone Cold had so many great rivalries. Of course, Vince McMahon being that one that everyone knows about. Was that your favorite rivalry? Was the Vince Stone Cold storyline, or did you like it when he was with The Rock and stuff like that?
I did. I loved anything that the man did. It's him and Vince, man. It's just like, it was something about, even as a kid, you didn't even have a job yet. And you're just sitting there like, Vince hates this guy so much, but he makes him so much money, he can't fire him. He can do whatever he wants to him. And I really thought that he was one day probably going to kill him. We were all going to see it. Because it wasn't just the fact that Stone Cold and Vince didn't like each other. Stone Cold made everybody hate the owner of this company that we're watching. I mean, we absolutely, 60,000 people call this guy now every time he walks out.
Well, I think also, if you think about it, man, so many, at the time with Vince, multi-millionaire, but now a billionaire, a lot of those guys have a lot of pride. They have a lot of ego, and they wouldn't allow a storyline like that to happen typically, right?
True.
I think it says a lot about Vince that he was willing to be that guy to be that punching bag for Stone Cold.
Yeah, it's just like, this guy's a businessman first, and like the ultimate businessman at that. The amount of money that I'm not saying Stone Cold wouldn't have been big, but there's no way he would have got where he was without that storyline.
No. I think, of course, Stone Cold, I remember Stone Cold as stunning Steve Austin back in WCW, and the man could work no matter what. And if you can work and you can talk on the mic, you're going to be successful. Okay. You're going to be fine. I think though that Vince realizing, man, what does every blue collar person, hell, what does every white collar person hate more than anything? They hate their boss.
Right.
And that's a real storyline at that point. Like, this is real life. Like, I can relate to this man more than anyone, because Justin, I mean, you've been a blue collar man your whole life. There's days where you wanted to stun your freaking boss plenty of times.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. Yeah. And I remember as a kid, they sold it so well that I remember as a kid, even though Vince is absolutely jacked, but I remember as a kid thinking in my mind, like, what a sissy Vince is, You're just like, this dude's huge. Looking back at it, you're like, why did I ever as a kid think this guy was like a little puny wimp? Like, he's not. He's jacked. He's huge. But they sold it so well that you just think of him as this weak little wimpy businessman. Yeah,
this billionaire that wears a suit, that's never fought before, and it was later on until all of a sudden we see him in his cutoff shirts and stuff like that. We realize, holy hell, Vince is working out, all day, every day. But Stone Cold just was relatable. And I think that's why guys like us loved him, because, all right, he's drinking beer. He's doing the one thing that Johnny Paycheck told us to do, which is cuss out your boss. And that's what we all wanted to do. And as kids, we didn't maybe fully understand it, but now as an adult looking back at it, I'm like,
genius.
Man, Stone Cold is what I want to be right now. So yeah, he transcended, and he made the blue collar man. He made the blue collar man believe it and feel it, and I think that's what was very special about him. Do you remember the night that he cut the promo for Austin 316? Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Or is this something that was a YouTube thing for you?
No. I watched it, and it was King of the Ring, Jake the Snake, if I remember right.
Yep.
That's exactly what it was.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
I had the old VHS tapes where it was like one was called Stone Cold Said So, and I can't remember what the other one was called, but like they also had that clip on there. Me and my brother would watch these VHSs until like they didn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Like that was what was so cool about they're making like a documentary style VHS, and they're still not breaking character. They're not telling you anything. You know what I mean? It's just that's the way it should still be in my mind. I know you can't put the cat back in the box, but
yeah,
that's just the way I feel about it.
And speaking of those VHSs, if you were like me, man, I grew up, didn't have a whole bunch of money. So if we watched a pay-per-view, it was because somebody stole it and we were all at their house,
exactly.
on that black
illegal
box.
Cable going on.
Exactly. And so, man, I watched all those pay-per-views through VHS. As soon as WrestleMania 6 came out on VHS, holy crap, man, I couldn't wait to go get it. And I would always rent it on a Friday because you do a 2-day rental, and the VHS place, the movie place in my town was closed on Sundays. So I could get it on a Friday and I could keep it all the way till Monday.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love those VHS. So going back to that King of the Ring that night, a couple of things that I think is very interesting. You may not know. You know that Stone Cold busted his lip that night.
Yeah.
He went and got stitches.
Yeah.
Okay. Comes back. He asked Michael Hayes, hey, what did Jake do or whatever? And he goes, man, this is the promo he cut. He cut a promo about religion, said some Bible verses. Now, what people don't realize a lot of times is Jake the Snake found Jesus before that match, and that's why he cut a promo about religion. If he would have never found Jesus, he would have never cut that promo the way he did, and we would have never gotten Stone Cold doing Austin 316.
Yeah, he should tell Jake the Snake thank you quite a bit for that.
Absolutely. Whatever church Jake went to, man, I'm sending my tithe there.
Exactly.
Because it gave us one of the greatest moments in wrestling history.
Definitely the greatest T-shirt of all time.
So simple.
Yeah.
And
the greatest T-shirt ever.
I'm a big promo guy. Love promos. I think Dusty, Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, these guys could cut promos like nobody's business. I put Stone Cold's Austin 316 up there in that top 5 promo of all time, though.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, that's the thing is like what they can do in the ring is amazing and impressive. But like if you can get up there and talk and cut those promos, that's over the top. That's your next level.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting too. Being around these guys, they're bigger than life. They're athletic. They're gym rats. And yet they can go in that ring. They can do this dance called professional wrestling. And then they can get on this mic and become an Oscar-worthy actor.
Exactly.
And I'm like, and yet people continue to make fun of this stuff. And I'm like, guys, look at all the talents that these people have.
They do. They're full of talent.
And most of them they don't have one credit of college most of the time. They just...
Yeah. Well, it's just like, why do you think whenever they go to movies, they're pretty good at it right off the bat? They've been acting this whole time.
Yeah.
It's not a leap for them.
No, not at all. And that's what, for me, being able to, when I watch wrestling, in the ring, there's some guys that I watch them and I go, that's awesome. But for the most part, man, I love the outside of the ring stuff. I love if you can cut a good promo. If you can't cut a good promo, I'm not going to believe your match.
Right, exactly. And, dude, I remember speaking to the pay-per-views that you brought up. Like, I remember nobody would ever buy one, and if one kid's parents bought one, everybody would go there. But for the most part, we didn't get to watch them. So you would know that that SummerSlam or something's coming up. You would know what match Stone Cold had. So then you're just sitting there on Monday Night Raw because there's no Google back then. You're sitting there on Monday Night Raw like, did he win? Like, you know, like I remember that vividly.
Man, one of the worst whippings I ever got was when my mom and daddy got that phone bill, and I called that 900 number, and Jim Ross was telling me what was going to happen or what was, you know, the storylines and everything else. And man, daddy whipped me from one end of that trailer to the other.
Well, deservingly so, but I got a similar whipping for ordering a pay-per-view one time. Like whenever they had it, whenever like Dish came along and it wasn't just cable, and you could go through there and just order it by clicking instead of calling and doing it. Oh God, same thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that went in debt on that because of their kids.
Yeah.